Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another day. And most importantly, happy Earth Day. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. We have a lot of cool experiments and activities planned for you to do and build at home. So, what are we doing today? We are going to try to build bird feeders and bird houses and just talk about birds just for a little bit. I know that in my neighborhood, we have really cool birds that show up all the time, and most recently we have woodpeckers who are banging on our gutters, and every morning at 7:30 I have to go out and scare them. We love birds, and we're actually going to make bird feeders that may draw more of these types of birds to our homes, so that's okay. What I love about birds is that you can sit and watch them and observe and see patterns, how they behave. We actually had a bird nest on our back porch a couple of years ago. We took some footage of it, and we had little babies, and they were feeding. It was just amazing. And since then, it's like everywhere you go, you just see birds flying all around. Big birds, little birds, red birds, blue birds, woodpeckers, you name it. And so today we're going to actually, in honor of Earth Day, do something to help out our bird friends who might be looking for a sweet treat to eat each and every day. There are so many different types of bird feeders that you can make, and we're just going to go through and try a couple and see how they turn out. And we're really using and reusing and recycling materials that we have at home. That's why I wanted to do this activity today on Earth Day, because it's all about reducing, reusing, and recycling. And so we have a milk jug, we've got an almond milk container, I've got paper towel rolls, I've got some craft sticks. These are just things that are lying around in your house, and I'm going to encourage you to use them. The only thing I really had to go out and buy is some bird food, and I'm going to borrow some peanut butter that we have in the house so that we can get the bird food stuck to things. So without further ado, let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to do a really basic bird feeder, and I'm going to take this craft stick, and I drilled a hole into the back of it, and you'll probably need some help in order to do that. But drill a hole, have your parents or a family member, a responsible family member, drill a hole into the craft stick. And then once you have that, what you're going to do is you're going to slather it up with peanut butter. So we know peanut butter is sticky. And then we're going to dip it into our bird food and create this. All right, so what I'm going to do to try to avoid cross-contaminating the peanut butter we're actually eating from and getting it into the bird food, I'm just going to migrate bird joke. I'm going to migrate some peanut butter over here into this container so that we can use it for our experiments. And if I need more, I'll get another container and put it in here so that we're not getting bird food into our peanut butter. I don't like crunchy peanut butter anyway, so it works out. And I have a question. Does anybody out there know the name of a scientist who studies birds? I looked it up to make sure I could pronounce it correctly. It is an ornithologist. Ornithologist. Say it with me, say ornithologist. So ornithologists study birds, their behavior, their flight patterns, where they live, what they eat, their feathers, everything birds. That's what an ornithologist studies. And so today we're like mini ornithologists. It's the beginning stages of that. All right, here we go. We've got our craft stick. I'm going to take some peanut butter. It's weird. It's like spray. So weird. Alright, we're going to get this on here. Oh, I'm using more peanut butter than I thought. And I'm spreading it out. I'm not going to make it too thick, but I want it, obviously, to be able to stick. And some people are going to say, is peanut butter good for birds? I was reading online that it's not bad for them, and it's not going to hurt them. And so what I'm going to do now is there's two ways you can do this. I actually have another tub, and this is so, I'm just going to stick it in and see what happens. No, I'm going to pour it over. Look at that, it just sticks right to it. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. So I've got my bird food and my peanut butter. I didn't think it would work that well. That was so cool, it just stuck to it. Look at this. And if you want, you can add more and then kind of pack it on there. so you can cover up all the peanut butter spots. And then shake off the rest. And now all you need to do is get a piece of string and tie it on. And I have a little piece of cardboard over here that I'm going to use this as a staging. So I'm going to get my string. I found some orange string. I'm going to tie on a piece of string right now. What I'm going to recommend is, depending on where you want to hang this, you find and go measure how long your string needs to be so you can find exactly the right length so you have it set up. And we have our first bird feeder. Or in our neighborhood, this could become a squirrel feeder. We have squirrels all over the place. So, that's one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to let it dry so that this hardens into the peanut butter, and then it'll be ready to be hung up outside. That's pretty cool, right? All right, so that is our first one. The second one uses paper towel roll. Now this is huge, all right? So I'm going to cut this one down about halfway. And what I'm also going to do is, before I put any peanut butter onto it, I'm going to find where I want to put the hole. And actually, I wouldn't have to. Oh, I'm going to try it like this. So you could put holes like this one. We just did. Put a hole here and a hole here, and we could string it like this. I'm actually going to just have it sideways and run my string through it so it kind of holds like that off of the branch. So let's give it a whirl. Oh, I feel like my fingers are going to get... So that works like that. You just put peanut butter. All right, I've got to ask. I know we're feeding the birds, making bird feeders, but if you're watching this and you're interacting, are you a smooth peanut butter person or are you a crunchy peanut butter person? That's the question for the morning. Smooth peanut butter or crunchy peanut butter? So while I'm spreading the peanut butter, let us know, do you like crunchy or smooth? I'm going to be honest with you. I am a smooth peanut butter man. I like peanuts, to eat peanuts, but I just don't like them mixed together. All right, here we go. Look at this. Perfect. Perfection. Let me get it closer to my fingers. So these are our bird feeders we're going to do today. These are awesome. And then I'm going to bring back my bowl, and I'm just going to pour it on here again.
Ooh, some votes for smooth, some votes for both. Someone also suggested honey peanut butter.
Honey peanut butter?
That sounds really good.
I've never had honey peanut butter, but I do love honey.
We also had a peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter jelly.
All right, so then, the things you guys say cracks me up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cardboard, I'm going to just press it in really good.
Ooh, not everybody has peanut butter too. Is there anything else we could use? Like maybe a different nut butter?
Yeah.
If you're allergic.
If you're allergic to peanut butter, I'm trying to think of another alternative to peanut butter that they could use to put onto this. Well, and if you don't have peanut butter, these two bird feeders might not be the ones for you, but we're going to do some other ones. I know we said birdhouses in our title of our post, but I think we're going to focus on the bird feeders and then talk about different types of birdhouses. All right, here we go. So this is what we have. We're going to take a piece of string. Like I said before, I would recommend going out and finding where you want to hang this and then building it to the right length. Because that looks good. I bet a bird jumps on this and perches on it.
Oh, someone suggested Crisco. If you didn't have peanut butter, that's a good idea because that's sticky.
Yeah, Crisco would be sticky. While it's cool out, I don't know what it'll do like when it gets warm. It might melt and the bird food might fall off, but it would probably work to get started for sure. Look at that. That's pretty cool. All right, so those are two different types of bird feeders that you can make. Pretty super simple.
Oh, someone else suggested sun butter. That's an allergy safe one.
Sun butter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sun butter. Yeah, so if you're dealing with allergies, peanut allergies, find an alternative.
Someone said Nutella, but I don't know.
Nutella? Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could give up the Nutella and put it on the bird feeder. And I don't know what chocolate would do to birds, like if that's a good thing for birds. But I wouldn't give up the Nutella. I would have to save that for Mr. C and then go with an alternative for the birds.
Maybe just a cup for the birds.
Here's what we're also going to do. You can also do, and if you don't have craft sticks, right? Not everybody has craft sticks laying around the house. Take a piece of cardboard. I just happened to find this in the garage. We have a lot of stuff in our garage. I happen to find some cardboard in the garage, and then just cut out a shape of your choice. Right? Same thing, same idea. I'm just going to go ahead and make this into what I think is going to look like a square. It's not a square, I bet. Because we know that squares have 4 equal sides. So I'm probably going to be making a rectangle here. We'll see. It's squarish. I mean, we could get technical. We might as well, because I have a ruler here. So this is 3.5 inches by 3 7/8. It's definitely not a square. You can see that too. This side is longer. So we have a rectangle. Yes. So make a rectangle. And then what you're going to do, just like we did before, determine where you want to put the hole. And this is always something that when you're using sharp scissors or something to poke through, be careful. Have a helper. So I just poked a hole into it. And once again, with your choice of stickiness, find something that's sticky. I like to coat both sides. I'm also trying to avoid getting it on my hands so I can keep working on other things. And now, not only do you have a bird feeder, but if you're working with younger scientists at home or ornithologists, you can create different shapes and work on your shapes. So rectangles, squares, circles, triangles, stars. We're going to have birds all over the neighborhood. Landing on our porch. There we go. Look at that. We've got our rectangular bird feeder. That's awesome.
Put it by your window.
Oh yeah. You can put it by your window and you could bird watch. When I was a classroom teacher, we actually had, I think one of the years I bought a bird feeder. It was like see-through with a reflective two-way glass, like a two-way mirror. And we could watch, the birds would land right there. We could watch them eating on the windowsill. It was really cool. All right, so we have our half-gallon almond milk container, and we are going to design something with this. I already took the luxury of drilling a hole into the top of this so I could tie a string to it before we got on air today. Your string doesn't have to hang from the top, but what we're going to try to do, and the thing is, I haven't had a chance to practice on these things. I know what I want them to look like up here, but because we have limited resources that look like this, these containers, I have not tested and built these. So we'll see how they turn out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a hole here like a window, and then I'm going to, right here, I'm going to poke through and I'm going to make a little perch for the bird to land on. And so we'll have this here, that's what I'm thinking, right? And then here I'm going to have a window, and then we're going to put bird food into it so that they can land and eat from this feeder. All right? Or if you wanted to, you could turn this into a birdhouse. You could do the same thing what I was saying. You could just cut a hole here, open it up, make a window for the bird, and then you could just leave it alone and see if a bird would come to nest in this container. You wouldn't put the food into it because they would want to build a nest. But those are some alternatives that you can try. And if you don't have this container, what do? Find another container at your house that you're allowed to use. Get your parents' permission. Don't go dumping out the milk. And be like, I got a milk jug. You want to ask for permission. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw my window, and I'll show you what I did here in a second. I'm going to draw an arch. There we go. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a little arc here. Little window. And I'm going to poke a hole to get started, and then I'm going to cut it out.
So
I'm going to take this, I'm going to poke a hole into it carefully. Oh. I'm going to apply get some air right there. There we go. So now that I have that hole, I can hopefully start working the scissors. Nice. It's hard to get it over by the edge. And then I'm just going to take this scissor up the top, the center. And if you need, you can also do another starter pilot hole. So pop a hole there and get the scissor and cut around. So I'm going to just take the scissor. Be careful.
ooh, someone else suggested using a pine cone for.
Oh yeah, I saw that online. Pine cones, and you can peanut butter them up, and you can put the bird food on there also. So that's a whole different way to build one. We used to have a pine tree in the yard. We had to cut it down. It was dying. But we had pine cones all the time. All right, here we go.
You might even have some in the garage.
Did you guys hear what she said? We might even have some in the garage. You're funny, Mrs. C. But it's probably true. All right, so we have our first window. If you wanted to turn this into a birdhouse and see if something would nest in here, you could leave it just like this. But because I want to turn it into a bird feeder, I'm going to actually cut a second window on the other side so that, like, if two birds hang out together, like, yo, you want to go eat at Mr. C's house? Boom, let's go. We're going to have two little perches. So I'm going to, it's not going to be perfect, but I want to see how high this is. It's 2 1/4 inches. All right, so I'm going to just bring this over here. Where'd my marker go? And then I'm going to mark that mark, and then I'm just going to run it across so I know that it's about the same height from the bottom. And then I have this piece that I cut out. I want to put this back on here. I'm going to kind of use it as a template. I'm going to just kind of mark it down. And then I'm going to mark it down again this way. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's close. Hopefully, we'll see if we can see through it here in a second. Once again, I'm going to pop this, put a little hole into it, get started. I'm going to take this up to the top. Bring this over. Oh, you could almost like make a door if you wanted to keep it like that. That could be cool. These scissors. Huh?
Be careful.
I'm being careful. There we go. If you are a younger little scientist and need help with scissors, ask your mom and dad for help. Look at that. Can we see it? Can we see through? It's pretty close. I think the one on the back is a little bit bigger. Hello, my little scientists. All right, so now we have our food holes where our birds can actually come and join us for some food. Ooh, it's wet. So I had a little bit of liquid. I rinsed it out. It's not completely dry. Let's get that as clean and dried out as we can. Look at this. And now what we're going to do also is we are going to my recommendation, you don't have to do this, but just, I'm going to take a few little holes. If I can poke it in there. We'll see how much bird food falls out of this. That was a bigger hole than I thought I was going to get. There we go. But what I want to do is I just want to have a few little holes on the bottom in case it rains and we get water into this, that the water can drain out so that the food doesn't rot and go bad. All right, here we go. Now all we need is a perch. So I'm going to take this. It's hard for you guys. It might be hard to see, but I'm going to poke another hole through on that side. Being very careful not to get my fingers in the way. And if you have like a dowel rod, or these are like jumbo skewers. You can use one and go all the way through. In case you have a really big bird that lands on this. Mrs. C is cracking up. It's a ginormous bird. It's going like, raw! I was just... Or you can use a pencil. And that could be the perfect size. Oh. I don't know what shot you left me on, Mrs. C. She had to walk away because she's laughing so hard. So you can have a little perch like this one, or you can have a longer perch. I was gonna cut this down. I wasn't gonna leave it like this. So you can take that, and I'm gonna cut this just a little shorter on the other side. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna score it with my scissors. So I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm going to just kind of get it etched a little bit here. And then this should break nice and easy right there. All right, you okay?
Yeah. We do have big birds though, but not that big.
Yes. So what happened is when I put the pencil through.
Zeb said a vulture.
A vulture.
Or eagles.
Yeah, bald eagles. Was that at Eastwood Park?
I think so. Yeah.
So in Ohio, if you're not from Ohio watching, if you're from another state watching, we do have big birds who nest. We have bald eagles that nest. It's about 20 minutes away from here, and they're just amazing creatures, beautiful creatures, beautiful. All right, so what you have now is, and this is kind of loose, right? Because I used the pencil and it had a larger diameter than this dowel rod, the skewer. So you can take some tape on the inside and tape it, or you can find even a bigger skewer that you can use. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape this just so it kind of holds it in place.
Oh, they said somebody saw the eagle at Carillon Park.
Ooh, I'm jealous.
Yeah, that's
I'm jealous.
Really cool.
Yeah, they're just magnificent creatures.
We get hawks sometimes.
Yeah, we have hawks and falcons. We've been seeing falcons. So then what you do is pour in your bird food.
Could you also decorate it?
Yes, I was going to get to that. One of my favorite things to do is to decorate things. I would go through and I would redecorate this to make it pretty for the birdie. So there we have it. Look at that. I'm going to dump a little bit out just so that if the wind blows, it's not going to knock it over. And then what we're going to do is you're going to take this. I'm going to take that. I'm going to push it through. Oh, it's my string.
Ooh, we had another good idea for feeding the animals. Someone said to string Cheerios and hang them out for the squirrels to get.
Ooh.
That's a really fun idea.
String Cheerios and hang them out for the squirrels to get. That's a great idea. I've got to make this hole bigger. There we go. We used to feed our squirrels corn. We had like this thing that rotated. You remember that? Put the ears of corn on it, and the squirrels went crazy for it. It was fun to watch them too, because they were. All right. Oh, I'm so proud of this. Look at that. That's awesome. So we have 4 bird feeders. We have this bird feeder. We have this bird feeder. And those are starting to dry already. We have this one. And I didn't put a string on this one, but we have our rectangular feeder. And you just hang them up where you think the birds are going to kind of hang out. And that's part of the experiment. Like, are there better places for the birds to come and eat the food? Maybe they don't. Maybe there are certain places you hang them, they feel safer, they'll come and flock to to the feeders and they'll eat the food there. Maybe it's not a good place. Maybe it's like a place where like squirrels are hanging out and they're like, yo, thanks for all the food, Mr. C. I'm curious to see what we get.
Or put them by your windows to see where you can see them.
We want to see your photos. As usual, we love seeing what you guys are doing at home and how this is helping you guys stay connected with nature. It is Earth Day. So small things. Look at this. We recycled an almond milk container to make a bird feeder. We reused some craft sticks that were laying around the house. And most importantly, we're reducing the amount of waste we're putting into the garbage by reusing some of these things and upcycling.